Can you name all 4 ghosts?
Inky, Blinky, Clyde, and
Don't you look.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to another episode of Show and Tell, the only show on the Internet with a live studio audience. Don't act like they're not. Editing room, can you guys cut to a shot of the audience? Hey guys! Hey, I see you over there. Alright, see? How do you not see them? Oh, you forgot your glasses.
That's true.
Alright.
That must be it.
Anyway, if you're just tuning in, which you definitely are, because our first video got like 30 views.
Oh. I thought it was a billion. I thought it was so many, it started over again.
Oh yeah, it rolled over. It's like mileage on a car.
That's what I thought happened.
Yeah, exactly. We are going to pick a random genre. Well, we've already picked the genre. We don't tell each other what it is, or what the item is from the genre, and then we reveal it live on camera. And then we debate to see which one is not better, but
we debate who's better. And I felt like I won last time. So
you know, I'm not sure that it's true because from an emotional standpoint, I feel like you lost.
But from an actual standpoint, I won.
Well, we don't actually have clear-cut rules in place, so I mean,
and
it's debatable.
We're making the rules up as we go.
All right. Well, this episode's theme is not a game; it is a movie, and the genre is fantasy.
Ooh. Like swords?
He acted surprised, but we already knew because we already picked our movies. But we are going to reveal them.
What do you consider a fantasy movie?
So anything. Well, I guess this is important considering you've already picked your movies. Anything that couldn't actually happen. I mean, actually, that's not true because I wouldn't really consider sci-fi and fantasy
I was
the
going to
same.
say sci-fi.
When I think fantasy, I automatically think like my go-to for fantasy is like medieval style stuff. But I mean, it's open for interpretation.
Okay.
So, regardless, it matters not because
right.
I'm Yoda now because you've already picked your stuff.
I did.
And as have I. All right, we're going to reveal them. Same time. He's never going to know what I picked. It's too obscure.
I definitely know.
Too obscure.
Ready?
3, 2, 1. Dungeons and Dragons!
Princess Bride!
Wow, what a good pick!
I know it's a good pick. It's an amazing movie.
I'm gonna lose.
Oh, you should. Alright.
So,
when
I say Dungeons and Dragons, I mean, obviously, the Dungeons and Dragons movie from the early 2000, or the year 2000, I believe, actually.
Was it the year 2000?
I believe it was. Either 2000 or 2001.
I'm gonna have to double, triple check that.
I'm almost certain it was 2000.
Okay.
Anyway, man, you've seen my movie, have you not?
I have.
And I've seen yours.
Who hasn't?
This is going to, well, of course. The entire universe has seen. You know they want to remake this?
I know, and like everybody's against it.
It makes me violently ill. Violently ill.
I'm okay with them doing, because I've also heard they want to do a Wesley story, a prequel. I'm like, I could see that. But even then, if I don't like it, I'm just going to pretend you don't exist.
All right, well, who wants to start with their little explanation of why there's better, but...
Yeah, you could go ahead and, because you got a lot of uphill battle to win. Because that's not a good movie.
Okay. Ignore this little cheat sheet. It's not actually here because it's all up here. So Dungeons and Dragons, on the surface, I will admit, is not a good movie.
No, it isn't.
But there are redeeming qualities. It's based on a beloved franchise, Dungeons and Dragons, and shall we not say that just the fact that it's based on a beloved franchise automatically makes you like it more? Case in point, off camera last week, you were saying how much you love the Super Mario Brothers movie, and that movie is terrible.
I do like that.
And I also like it. So therefore, my point is valid. Anyway, this movie is from the year 2000. It is a very strange movie. It's based on Dungeons and Dragons lore, questionably.
Made like $7.
It's very Hollywood-esque in that regard. But it does have a decent cast list. Jeremy Irons is in this movie. Can you believe it?
He plays the villain, if I remember correctly.
Yes, he plays the mage Profion.
Oh.
Yes. And guess who else is in this movie? Marlon Wayans. Crazy, right?
I mean, yeah, but I feel like, his career, it has its ups and downs. You know what I mean?
Well,
This was definitely a down.
This is okay. So like I already said, the movie's not good, but it means a lot to me emotionally because I was and still am very much into the fantasy genre back then. Still am, but nowadays fantasy stuff is like a dime a dozen. If I want to see something fantasy related, I just put on Netflix and there's 5,000 different options for me.
This is true.
In the year 2000,
you can go to your TV and be like, fantasy.
In the year 2000.
Ooh.
Alright. In the year 2000, I gotta stop saying that. In the year 2000, there was not a lot to pick from. I mean, it was sparse. When this movie came out, I loved Dungeons and Dragons. My friends and I played it in high school. It was just right up my alley, and it was something that I had to go right to the movies to see because I assumed it would be good because, again, it was D&D. And, like I said, it wasn't great, but it whet the palate, It was important to me because people were making things that, for me.
It's funny you mention that because I could see that it was still special then. You know what I mean?
Right.
Before nerd culture got so popular. You know
Right.
what I mean? Because think about it, 2000 was also when X-Men came out.
That's true.
That's
true. Yeah, that's true.
So I could see you having a special moment. Like, this is something you and your friends, I should say friend, got to enjoy Kenny.
I see what you did there.
Got to enjoy all by yourselves and,
This movie also is lucky because this came out just a little bit earlier than the Lord of the Rings trilogy, which obviously completely murders this movie because
that's when it was cool to
that is the quintessential fantasy movie / trilogy. So obviously, if this would have come out like God forbid after the Fellowship of the Ring, I mean, it would there would be nothing. There'd be no fans of it, and not that there's any fans of it now other than me.
There's 7 of you guys out
That's
there.
true, there is. But so quick synopsis. Main character, Ridley Freeborn, played by Justin Whalen, and his best friend...
He was in Lois and Clark, wasn't he? Played Jimmy Olsen, if I'm not mistaken.
Wikipedia. I don't know. Wikipedia's broken in my brain.
All right.
It's possible, though.
Almost possible.
And his best friend, Snails, played by Marlon Wayans, are thieves.
Dumb name.
And they decide that they're going to rob the Thieves Guild in town because they want to make a name for themselves and get rich. Well, lo and behold, things don't go well. They get caught, but the evil mage Profion has his own little plan, and he wants to steal the staff of Savril, I believe it's called, and to be able to control red dragons. All kinds of craziness happens. They meet a dwarf who is played by...
Oh, this is awkward.
Someone.
We'll edit this out.
I don't know who played the dwarf, but the dwarf was cool. And they meet an elf, and they meet a wizard. The elf is a tracker.
Oh.
Yes. And the Empress Savina. Wait, I said the Wand of... No, I said the Wand of Servril. Too many S's. Anyway, who cares? If you want to see it, you can watch it. There's probably some screenshots of the movie down here, and by probably, I mean definitely, so just look at those. But anyway... there's D&D based stuff in it. Some of the spells, some of the monsters.
Would you say you have to be a Dungeons and Dragons fan to enjoy this one?
Oh God, no! Because, like Mario Brothers before it, it's D&D and basically in name only, and there's a few little things similar to how in Mario Brothers there's a little bomb, and that's like, oh yeah, I get that reference. It's the same thing with this movie. I mean, there's little references to D&D, and it's a fantasy movie, so it kind of fits.
I haven't seen it since 2000.
However, this is a story for another time, but this is the Blu-ray 2-pack, because what's also on this Blu-ray 2-pack
Please tell me more.
is the sequel.
They made a sequel?
They did. It's called Dungeons and Dragons: Wrath of the Dragon God. That movie didn't have much of a budget, but that movie is hardcore Dungeons and Dragons. If this is they're polar opposites. If one movie is very loosely based on D&D, the other one is they went all in. All in.
You can't even watch the movie without rolling a dice.
Pretty much. All the characters are very obvious character classes. It's not a reboot. It is a legit sequel, because the main villain in the first one is Profion, played by Jeremy Irons.
Yes.
But he has a right-hand man named Damodar.
Yes.
He's like the head of the guard or whatever. So Jeremy Irons dies in the first movie, but Damodar survives. And Damodar is the villain, the main villain of the sequel. So it is like, they were like, well, we want to redo this again and have it not stink, but we also don't want to reboot it, so let's just make a sequel, but a D&D sequel, like a real one. And this will be our inroad, because for the 7 fans that liked it, Damodar's still in it.
I'm seeing the back here, and it seems like a big difference in budget here.
97% of the second movie takes place in the forest.
Makes sense. That's free to film.
I'm pretty sure it was like the New Jersey Pine Barrens. They went and filmed. The main character is the Jersey Devil.
Yeah, you see a ranger in the background.
The main bad guy is the Jersey Devil. Yeah, that's not true. But I mean, it very well could have been. It's like, it's good though. It's good. I think I might just be too easily entertained. I don't know.
We like the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah,
we might have lost our 2 fans there.
If you have not picked up on this yet, I am not a movie critic.
No.
So there we are.
I feel like critics such a dashless and tough job, though.
Martin Scorsese just said that Marvel films are not cinema. MCU movies are not cinema. And you see, that's the kind of thing. Like, I'm so easily entertained. Like, I go, it's a popcorn flick, and obviously it's cinema because you go to the cinema to see it. It's shot on film, blah blah blah. And he's being Martin Scorsese. You know what I mean? But like, the thing is, like, I don't go to the movies to be like, this is a clear-cut masterpiece. It deserves a Best Oscar nod. Like, I'm not that person. I want to go to the movies and watch something that interests me and be entertained. If I can do, like, I like fantasy. If I go to the movies and I watch Dungeons and Dragons, it's a fantasy movie. First box is ticked. You know, does it entertain me? There's cool stuff in it. I mean, the story's a little funky, but
is there dungeons in it?
There is.
Is there dragons?
And dragons.
I'm good.
But that ticks the second box. Like, I'm easy, I'm like every movie studio's like primary target, because I like almost anything that's entertaining. It doesn't have to be a work of art to me.
Okay.
I'm not an idiot. Like, I recognize that this movie is horrendous compared to like Lord of the Rings, but I mean, they both entertain me for their own reasons.
I can see that.
My argument is not going to hold up to this, by the way, because I've really not done much to sell it.
No. But I'm not going to do much to sell my movie because I feel like it sells itself.
Here's what's going to happen here. I'm going to crack this open. Jesse's going to talk. And I'm going to scoff at him at what he's saying because he's clearly wrong. But little does he know, he's not wrong.
I'm not long-winded. This is Princess Bride. If you've never seen this movie, then you don't exist.
You're one of like 8 people.
Yes.
The 7 people in my fan club are the same, well, other than me, are the same 7 people who haven't seen this.
Have you ever noticed this, though, about this version of it?
Oh, that's just lovely.
What?
Oh, it still says it!
Yes!
Oh my goodness! So the Princess Bride, and when you flip it, it still says Princess Bride. Does my version say that?
I don't know.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
In the corner there, right next to Pixels.
Ugh. Oh no, mine sucks!
Oh, yes. Yeah, no. I thought you had a friend. So for those who haven't seen this brilliant film, which you have to, even if you did, we can just talk about it. It's so cool. Good. It's based off a novel by the same name. The novel is written much more Shakespearean and everything like that, but the movie does a really good job of translating it. It stars a young Fred Savage from Wonder Years. What would you do if a son on the tune? Anyway, he is sick and home from school.
We have a live studio audience in front of us.
I'm sorry. Columbo comes over to read him a story. He says he doesn't want it because it's got kissing in it. And then he's like, just listen to the story, and then he gets into the story.
Oh my god, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just made the connection. Once Upon a Deadpool?
Yeah. Fred Savage.
How did I not pick up on that? Like,
I don't know. That's embarrassing.
My brain was just exploded out my ear. Anyway, continue.
Yes. So, due to a unforeseen circumstance, a woman who falls in love with her farmhand, who they can't be together due to him getting kidnapped and whatever, he goes away. She gets sad. She gets promised to somebody else, and then somebody comes back, a mysterious character, in a mask. I won't say who it is. It's the farmhand. He comes back to rescue her, and there's just a lovely cast of characters. You have the swordsman. You have the, I don't know, what would you consider Wesley? The hero? The dead man? The dashing star?
Yeah, like the protagonist, I guess, yeah.
You have the giant in the movie. I loved, what's his
Under
face?
the Giant.
Yes.
Yeah.
The character played by, what's his face? I should have done some research so you know. Inconceivable. It's just so fantastic. Inconceivable.
Oh, that guy, the short guy. The
short bald guy.
What's his name?
And if this movie is worth watching for any other reason but Billy Crystal, he's fantastic.
That's true. Yeah, well, Billy Crystal just in general is also.
It's just so it's just a fun, fantastic movie. Very quotable, by the way.
Oh, infinitely quotable.
Say a lot of lines from it, and it's just a fun fantasy movie.
Peter Falk.
Maybe.
Is that his name? I can't think of it for some reason.
I don't know.
It doesn't sound right. We don't do any research beforehand. We just start filming.
You know, because I love these movies, and I remember Rodents of Unusual Size, you know, things like that. Sword Fighting, Mostly Dead. I mean, I've seen the movie a billion times. You know, it's one of my wife's second favorite movies.
Really? What's her first?
League of Their Own.
That's a great movie. We just watched that the other day, like a couple of months ago for like a movie night.
So, I highly recommend this movie. It is hilarious, full of, you know, fashion adventures. It's thrilling, exciting, very funny, and absolutely
Sir, are
magical.
you reading the box?
No, no way.
Did you know that mine has Spectres and Dragons, Villainy and Courage, cooler and more astonishing, and double feature? Okay, that was a really... Shouldn't have read that part.
Okay. The other thing I would like to pitch is I watched this movie 1,000 times with the kids, and it's very safe for the kids. Yes, nothing too bad. You know what I mean? Even the six-fingered man. Six-fingered man.
Yeah, sure.
Killed my father, prepare to die.
Right. All right.
Me and Steve are going to sword fight now. So, what is I think?
You know,
that's what I think.
I want. So that's your vote, okay?
Yeah.
That's gonna be like a whole thing we do now. So that was your vote. All right, now let's stand ours back up. And now, here comes my vote. Ready? What am I gonna knock over? I can't do it.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
It's just a brilliant movie.
I can't do it.
It's so good.
So, I would love to argue that, but you picked a good one, Johnny.
I know. That is a good one.
You picked a good one. I don't.
It probably would have just won for the flip that the cover does. I hope they can see this.
Oh, I'm totally gonna take some pictures and do a close up of that.
Yeah, that is really amazing. So if you haven't seen this movie, you have to. It's fantastic. And I know it looks corny. It does. It took me a couple of years to say. I think I was like 13, 14 when I finally sat down and watched this.
I saw that movie late. I saw that movie probably first time in my 20s. So it had been out for obviously forever by that point.
So I had seen the movie a couple of times and skipped over it in the beginning because of all the sappiness and everything. But the movie, it does that to you. Finally, the time I actually watched it, I think it was like 14. I got to the sword fight. I lied to you. I'm not left-handed either. So brilliant. And that's what drove me in, and then after that, I was like, I'm hooked. So yeah, I've seen this movie too many times again by this point.
Well, honestly, at this point, I think we should cut to the live studio audience to gauge their opinion. Audience, what do you think is the better movie? Ha ha ha! Did you see that man in the audience doing that funny thing?
No.
Ooh, I'm so glad we have the budget to pay for a live studio audience.
Yep.
That joke is not going to hold over well.
No, Steve, you're losing it, man. You're losing it.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Well, on that note, do you have anything else to add, sir?
No.
Nor do I, and apparently neither does our live studio audience because they appear to all be dead. Ha 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 ha! What a good gag that was. Whose idea was that again?
That was all you. You know what I mean?
Well, I have the best ideas. Always.
Dungeons and Dragons. Ooh, you know what? Before we go,
What's that?
I brought a movie that is universally not liked.
There's a bonus?
Universally not liked like Dungeons and Dragons, but I really enjoy, and that is Henry Cavill in The Immortals.
I've never seen this.
I like this movie. It's another fantasy movie. It didn't do well box office wise, and people really don't like it. Give it a chance.
Here's a question for you. Did you just call him Henry Cavill?
Yeah, what is it? Cavill?
Henry Cavill, man.
Is it Cavill?
Superman.
Like an anvil?
Yeah, Cavill.
He's English, so I put a little accent
Henry
on
Cavill.
it. Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill.
Cavill.
That's him right there.
Cavill.
Cavill.
Oh my God. We're gonna end it on that note.
Give us a chance.
This has been Show and Tell.
Not before this one, though.
Probably not a very good episode of Show and Tell, but there it is.
Oh, I like it.
I'm Steve.
Whip it.
He was supposed to say I'm Jesse, but he just said whip it for some reason. I don't know what is his deal. But, well, sir, it's been fun.
It is.
And we're going to have to do this again sometime.
Yeah, same time next week.
Exactly. Although next week probably won't be this episode. But we'll never know.
Yeah, we might just
Maybe it will.
do it again.
Right.
We'll switch places. I'll show Dungeons and
You ever
Dragons.
notice at the end of every one of our shows, we start to ramble? Like, there should be a point where, like, we should just shut up.
But I can't.
Me either.
You know,
This is the friendly banter section.
You know what's funny is at this point we just
we're not over yet.
continue to talk and that's it.
Okay, I think this time we're going to end on a Thanos snap. We're going to make the show turn to dust.
Alright.
Ready? Oh, I can't snap, can I? I can pretend. 3, 2, 1. Goodbye! Hello, Internet. Welcome to another episode of Show and Tell, the only show on the Internet with a live studio audience.
There's just nobody there. I got thrown off. I'm sorry.
All right.